Remember the Musket fire talk Elder Holland gave at BYU? Well, he has not really commented publicly on it until now. In 2021, Elder Jeffrey R. Holland addressed the faculty of Brigham Young University, where he talked about staying true to the mission of BYU. He expressed the desire for the faculty to stand by the doctrine of the church when it came to LGBTQ issues. To make his point, he used the metaphor of sometimes needing to defend yourself, using the example of how the Nauvoo temple builders built it with a trowel in one hand and a musket in the other. He talked about how at times the church and BYU have been the recipient of musket fire by those who disagree with the church's doctrine of the family. This talk became extremely controversial, and Elder Holland has remained pretty much silent on his reaction to the talk until now. He was interviewed by Sherri Dew on the Church News podcast, where he spoke about what it's been like to lose his wife this last year, almost lose his own life, and what he thought about the reaction to his BYU address, and this is what he said.
What I hoped that would come through is a message to the leadership of an institution. It was the annual university leadership conference about how you direct and manage an institution. And I was teaching what I hoped would come through, and that is loyalty to and devotion to and adhering to and never yielding from the mission of Brigham Young University. That's what I hoped would come through. And I didn't want it to veer here. I didn't want it to veer there. I didn't want it to veer up, down, in, and out. I wanted it to go right down the middle of the doctrinal highway. So I say, Lord, I believe, bless thou my unbelief. Well, let's talk about how we make the university or keep the university loyal. Now, if anybody was hurt, and I know some were in that exchange, then I was hurt. If they were hurt, I was hurt. And I've wept. I've wept for those 3 years. I don't think anybody's had more people in an office, in a chair, weeping with them than I have in that administration building with kids who are struggling with gender issues. No one can say that I do not love them. But I'm also was then responsible for the direction of a university. I just wanted to get the supporting doctrine of the Church of God. So anybody else's pain is your pain. I want to say, secondly, in that regard, every student that comes there is safe. We're going to have a safe place for them to talk, for them to be open. Everybody's safe there. Everybody's loved there. They're loved by God, and they're loved by us. They're loved by me. They're loved by Shanice. Well, I'm glad you would raise that, because I'm going to just leave that much and go on. But I'm very unhappy if anybody was hurt, because that's then my hurt deeply, given the hours and hours and hours that I've spent with kids who struggle with gay issues. So we'll keep trying. We'll keep trying to do better.
It sounds to me like he believes his intended audience should influence the interpretation of his message, so the faculty of BYU, not the students. And he's felt pained by the pain people have expressed since his talk. And he also believes BYU can be a safe place for all students. Now, I think it's important to listen to this whole interview. I, for one, was really inspired by the hope he has for future generations. I know I get easily discouraged by the trajectory society's taking, but if Elder Holland can experience so many trials in his life and see so much of the world and yet maintain a resilient hope in the future, I'd like to think I can too. Listen to the full episode on the Church News podcast.